Hello everyone and welcome back to Locke's Quest. Last time we had to save the villagers from the clockworks, and now we've lost a strategic opportunity. Now we have to defeat the clockworks yet again. This time we have to do another different type of mission. This area is actually full of these different types of missions, But this time we have to destroy the walls of the clockworks in order to make it into the base itself, where the source well that they've captured is being held. He's given us explosives. I wonder what type of explosives they use in the Locke's Quest universe. I mean, just think about it. It's not C4, at least, you know. I think this is one of the few days in the game where enemies don't actually spawn, and all the enemies on the screen from the start, if you look at the map screen, are actually the only enemies in the entire level. Makes this level a lot easier, because you had to go into the areas that you needed to go into and destroy the walls, as well as deal with a bunch of enemies walking around. Woo! That'd be hard. That's something that they do in the hard mode of the game, which if you haven't played it, you'll know it's difficult. Like, I don't know how they did it, but they somehow made hard mode much more difficult. I think what they did to make hard mode more difficult was to actually make it so that way enemies do more damage to your walls naturally. I think even the blue enemies, which are the most advanced enemies in the entire game, do like major damage, which just became really stupid. Like I said, those magicians, since they're ranged fighters and their attacks do so much damage, it gets a little bit annoying to try and fight them off. My strategy for getting through this day is to use the random like one-off groups, like these two here, and just use them as a way to fill up your special meter. Then run up to like the big groups of enemies that are defending the doors, and then just special meter them to death. Mind you, the special meter hits every enemy in the entire world, while farther enemies don't get hit for as much damage. Closer enemies get hit for a lot of damage. Therefore, using the special meter at all actually damages the enemy. Like, see here. See, those enemies are actually getting damaged no matter what, even though I was nowhere near them. Which makes it a lot easier on the player, so that way they can just start using these enemies, using the special meter real close to everyone, and then just using it again a little bit later, and then bam, enemies are dead, easy mission. So Locke's Quest was one of those games I played when I was younger. I had actually heard about it a lot through the commercials. Surprisingly enough, even though this game didn't sell too well, nor get as much recognition as it probably should have, it still got a lot of commercials in gaming media. I think one thing though about Locke's Quest that made me hear about more was the fact that about that time that Locke's Quest was being released, I was actually getting a lot more into the gaming media and into the gaming in general, far more than I was when I was younger. Which makes it so that way I could actually find out about games like Locke's Quest and other DS games that were also left in the dust or not really given as much attention as they probably should have gotten. Some of these are like the shall I say, the games like Magical Star Sign, Avalon Code, and like, all of which I'll be doing later on in time, but they'll all be happening at different times, and Avalon Code's gonna take a while because because of all the chapters and some of the stuff I have to do in order to show the extra cutscenes. But yeah, games like those have always intrigued me ever since I played Locke's Quest. Underrated games, and there are underrated games on every system. Games that were made by like independent developers and the like that don't get as much, you know, praise or hype as maybe something like Call of Duty would. And no, I'm not the type that's going to sit there and say, you know, Call of Duty is the worst series in the world. Sure, it's a bit overrated by a long shot. I mean, I don't see why the modern military shooter that's supposed to be Rambo-style realistic, which is an oxymoron when you really think about it, gets so much attention and praise, but whatever. I mean, that's just the way that some people like that type of stuff. Some people will question why in the world do I like Purple Space Dragon going around defeating different other dragons and lizards and monsters, and has his health bar be a dragonfly. If you didn't get that, that means you are a child and you never played Spyro the Dragon. Unless you played Skylanders, which Skylanders kind of sucks. I'll admit. Like, Skylanders kind of ruins the entire Spyro thing because they put Spyro in the game literally as a cash-in. Activision did. Ever since they got the Spyro license, they've really been using Spyro as a way to cash in on his name, because ever since the PlayStation 1 days, Spyro's been was a common household name, and even the extended games that were created after the original 3 Spyro games made by Insomniac, they tried to cash in, and it really didn't work out. They never really had the feeling of the first 3, and that might be nostalgia talking, but you know. So now we've captured the camp, which is the actual home of the nomads, their place of living. So things should calm down now, and I think we should go ahead and head on. I think the nomads will be fine. Yeah, I did like 6-7 missions that didn't actually require me to build and defend. I think this is one of the largest hub worlds or hub areas in the entire game, next to Antonia. Cutscene. So now we've helped the nomads, we're supposed to be able to get our stone now, so that way we can do our stonecraft and use a higher quality of walls in our defense. And uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. I'd recommend running there, dude. And did. That wasn't exactly the fastest run. You should have kind of sprinted. Boom! Bitch slapped. And backstabbed. Didn't know that the spy was in the game. By overrun, I think you mean that we're being murdered. So here's the second half of the game, or this area. So tired. It's like now it's like 10 o'clock when I'm recording this, but so now it's the second half of this area, and we're gonna have to abandon the top source well, to my knowledge. I think we're gonna abandon it soon. This is due to the fact that this area is more important to defend now. I might be wrong, and don't quote me on that, because it might be that you suck to defend the top source well. The basic way you want to deal with this area is to set up walls and traps near the beginning and where the actual source well is. The knights will be able to defend to an extent, but they're going to die pretty quickly, and I don't recommend trying to rely on them, nor the pikemen or the archers to actually defend anything, because they're going to die off and they're going to get swarmed like massively. The archers are going to just have to deal. They should be able to last due to their range, but that at this moment these guys over here are undefended. So what you want to do during this section of the game is literally just defend. There's really no other objectives after this, so really just, if you can, take advantage of any type of terrain differences that you can get. Make sure that you pay attention to both sides of the area, because the clockworks will be attacking both source wells during this first part. And make sure that you shall I say, make sure that you do diligence, and you follow up on any type of clockworks you can see on the map. Mind you, the map is on the top screen, so you won't be able to see it on my gameplay, but I'm sorry. The map will tell you where enemies are. Also, do something I'm not doing here. You should be more using your different keys or your different attacks, so that you can switch them on the fly so easily. I'd recommend doing that. And as you can see, that wall is about to get destroyed because the Clockwork was attacking it from behind. As such, the wall took more damage than it normally would have. One soldier Clockwork would usually never take down a wall turret like that. As you can see, the AI is kind of dumb in Mock's Clip. They're kind of trying to go through a wall and just jittering out. I have to say one thing about this section of the game is that when you get a good defense going, it really becomes a cakewalk, and it really doesn't pose much of a threat that enemies don't when you have a good, good defense up. But that's nearly any section of the game, just due to the fact that the sections are they're well made, I have to admit. I mean, whoever level designed for this game probably had to spend a lot of time determining whether or not the level was balanced, or whether or not the amount of enemies that spawned was balanced, the time, the location, all that stuff had to be properly intact. And I commend whoever had to sit there and playtest this and determine whether or not the game was balanced, because the last thing you want is an unbalanced tower defense game where there are more enemies than you can even deal with, nor repair. At least their repair system is good. As you can see, the pikeman and the guy over there are perfectly fine. Not too many enemies come from that side of the screen. But they're going to need to be defended at some point, otherwise they're going to die quickly. That was day 23 success. Either way, I'll see you all in the next cutscene. Anyway, after another day of fighting, we finally defeated the Clockworks in this area. We've held them off, we've kept them from attacking us. We finally got our stone walls. All this work for stone. And it's well worth it, because now we have more advanced walls, and these are the walls we're using for a good portion of the game. Until we get the steel walls, and then the steel walls actually get outclassed very quickly compared to the stone walls. Or at least it feels that way. Oh, the next section of this game. Okay, here we go. Next section of the game after this build phase, which is just a tutorial phase. It's not actually a day. That's why I didn't cut it out. But the next section of this game, it has one of the most annoying boss fights ever, if I remember correctly, and one of the most annoying gimmicks. Either way, we'll see you all at the pass. Have a nice day.